Women don't sell. A notorious quote from Ubisoft creative lead Serge Hascoe in reference to Assassin's Creed Odyssey having one playable protagonist, Cassandra. According to the 2020 Bloomberg report by Jason Schreier, the development team behind the game wanted Cassandra to be the sole protagonist, but Ubisoft's marketing team pushed back on it, resulting in players having the option to choose between Cassandra and a male counterpart named Alexios. However, Odyssey is not the only entry in which a solo female lead is lacking. Assassin's Creed Valhalla has a similar issue, but while Alexios and Cassandra are technically two different characters, Valhalla allows you to choose between a male and female variant of the same character, Eivor. This one is a bit weird because the name Eivor is of Norse origin and is predominantly a name held by women in Nordic countries. But the name was chosen because the female Eivor is canon, while the male Eivor is supposed to be the game's representation of the Isu in Norse god Odin. Going back even further, Assassin's Creed Origins features Bayek as the main character with a few brief sections in which you play as his wife Aya. In that game's story, we find out that Aya becomes Emunet, an important figure in the lore of Assassin's Creed. But Bayek, while a great character, is never mentioned prior to his appearance in Origins. All of this is not to say that the Assassin's Creed series has never had a woman lead the show without a male counterpart. There's Aveline de Grand Prix and Xiao Jun from Assassin's Creed Liberation and Chronicles China respectively. However, neither of these entries are part of the mainline series of games and are easily missed by most fans. Particularly Liberation, which was released alongside Assassin's Creed 3 back in 2012 and was exclusive to the PlayStation Vita at launch. I'm not going to pretend that these are issues that have always stuck out to me, because they certainly aren't. I've been a fan of the series since I was 10 years old and have continued to play it into adulthood. When I first played Origins and Odyssey in high school, I never even considered how a key character like Aya was pushed to the sidelines in favor of her lesser known husband, or how it would have been ideal for me to pick Cassandra over Alexios because she's canon. I was honestly just a foolish teenage boy excited to play the latest installment in his favorite video game franchise. It was not until recently, with the release of Valhalla in 2020, that I began to notice a pattern. It was then that all those things I somehow ignored over the years became apparent, and I could never unsee them. Then I began to learn more about the culture at Ubisoft and the workplace misconduct that plagues the company, which, while not the focus of this video, is still worth highlighting to bring more awareness to this massive problem. But in all my findings, the primary thing that stuck with me is women don't sell. This belief that's held by Ubisoft executives is the reason why Aya wasn't utilized more as a character, the reason why Cassandra and Eivor aren't the only options in their games, the reason why Aveline and Xiao were not given full big budget mainline entries. But perhaps the most egregious case of women getting the short end of the stick in Ubisoft's flagship series is in Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Syndicate takes players to Victorian London in the 1860s, a fun, sizable city to explore and mess around in as not one, but two playable characters. Jacob and Evie Fry are twin assassins, a first for the series. Players can freely swap between Jacob and Evie as they please when in the open world, but are forced to play as one or the other during certain story missions. But if I could only play as Evie, I would.
Anyway, I'm off. If I find any more wild geese for you to chase, I'll be in touch.
Be ever more pleasant for your absence.
All Assassin's Creed games up to this point revolved around finding pieces of Eden, powerful ancient artifacts that are scattered around the world. The primary goal of the assassin is to keep these pieces of Eden out of Templar hands. The story also took themselves seriously, placing a focus on the conflict between assassins and Templars, as well as the Creed itself. Recent entries have strayed away from that, but this departure really began with Syndicate. The game's tone is a jarring shift from that of its predecessors. Out of the gate, Jacob and Evie's dynamic is shown through comedic banter between the siblings as they embark on the opening missions, establishing that this game is not only going to have a lighter tone, but that it is aiming to be funny. Spoiler alert, it's not.
What's this, Greenie? Assassin Christmas.
The opening missions of Syndicate see Jacob and Evie split up to assassinate two separate targets. The tutorials reveal the difference between Jacob and Evie's playstyles. Jacob is confrontational, while Evie prefers a more stealthy approach. The ultimate goal of the Fry twins is to free London of Templar control under the main antagonist Crawford Sterrick, but the duo doesn't always see eye to eye on how to go about it.
I always thought of myself as a gang leader. Firm, but fair. Well, I have uniforms, and I'll unite a mix of disenfranchised outsiders under one name. That's it, Evie. We can rally them to our side.
Oh, like the way that you rallied those card players at the Oakbrook Tavern into the river.
Oh, that was different. They beat me at whist. I can see it now. We'll call ourselves the Rooks.
You were never good at chess either.
Have you got a better plan?
Find the piece of Eden.
Oh.
Well, let me show you the lay of the land. Shall we?
Jacob's focuses on forming a gang called the Rooks to help take back the city. In order to liberate the boroughs of London, players must participate in gang wars, which are conquest activities in which the Rooks face off against the enemy gang called the Blighters in an all-out brawl. This is an Assassin's Creed game, mind you, and Jacob himself is an assassin. The Creed has three main tenets: stay your blade from the flesh of an innocent, hide in plain sight, never compromise the Brotherhood. Therefore, one of the core gameplay and story elements of Assassin's Creed Syndicate breaks two of these three fundamental tenets, and Jacob Fry is to blame for it. Sure, we see other assassins break the tenets in other games. Heck, Altair breaks all three within 5 minutes of us meeting him. But in Altair's case, as well as other characters like Ezio Auditore and Arno Dorian, over time we witness them grow wiser as they gain a better understanding of the Creed and what they are truly fighting for. Except for this, I ain't gonna lie, Ezio was just kinda wild at this part.
Hide in plain sight. Right.
But that's besides the point. The point is that Jacob being a poor assassin isn't part of any type of meaningful character arc, he just is one. He's a reckless character who isn't concerned with actually being a proper assassin, unlike his sister, Evie. Evie Fry takes her role as an assassin seriously. She wears the robes, knows the history, and is trying to locate a piece of Eden before the Templars. Evie reminds me of why Assassin's Creed is in the title. This is why Evie is my, and a lot of other people's, preferred character. She's an actual good assassin in a game that otherwise goes against what it is to be Assassin's Creed. Evie is a standout protagonist amongst many greats in a long-running series, but if you're not familiar with the game at all, then you probably wouldn't even know that she's a playable character. Posters, trailers, and other promotional material for Syndicate highlight Jacob most, giving people the impression that he is the main character when that's not the truth. It's like Ubisoft putting Alexios and male Eivor on game covers instead of their canon female counterparts, because it sells. Assassin's Creed Syndicate is just one example of corporate greed ruining a game's potential to positively represent women in a medium that both underrepresents and misrepresents marginalized groups more often than not. There are massively successful franchises such as Hellblade, The Last of Us, and Horizon that feature women as main characters. They are not hypersexualized, 2 of them are LGBTQ+, and 1 suffers from mental illness. Though it seems like Ubisoft might be testing their hypothesis with Star Wars Outlaws and Assassin's Creed Hex, with rumors around that game stating that there is going to be a female protagonist named Elsa. There are always going to be people who have a problem with playing as a woman in video games. This is a fact. But what Ubisoft fails to recognize is that the vast majority of gamers just want to play a good game, no matter who they have to control. Hey guys, if you made it to this point in the video, I just want to say thank you. Really, I truly appreciate you watching the whole thing, because this is a topic that I feel really passionate about, not just like with women, but representation in video games in general. I feel really strongly about, and I hope I was able to do this topic justice. You know, I've been working on this video for a while. You know, it's my first time doing any type of like video essay type thing by myself. At least I've done like some collaborative stuff before, but as for like, you know, the writing, recording, editing, all of it. It's just like me, all put together by me, and I'm really proud of it. So like I said, again, I really appreciate you watching it all the way through, and you know, if you want, feel free to like and subscribe and all that. I don't normally like to say those things, but you know, because I like to think that if you feel inclined to do those things, you would just do it without me saying anything. But you know, I'm still small, so for now I'll nudge you a little bit. You know, hit subscribe, hit like. It really helps us out, or me at least. Well, us, because I also, there's Real Time Podcast, you know. Also, I'll leave a link to that in the description. Shameless self plug and all that. But at the end of the day, I don't know what the heck I'm talking about. I'm just a guy with an opinion, but now I want to hear yours. So leave a comment. What do you think of the video? What do you think of the topic? All that stuff. You know, I want to know what you think. Genuinely. Like your honest opinions. I won't judge you. But yeah. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.